What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. We're finally going to be tearing this one apart. Basically, I'm going to be pulling everything that's good on this car off. So motor, trans, drivetrain, rear suspension, the rear end, gas tank, everything that's good and all-wheel drive related is coming out of this. And we're going to be preparing everything to be put into the other one, which is the GST. Alright, so now I'm going to drain whatever is in the coolant system. Not sure if there's anything in there at all, but I gotta get this radiator out, so I'll unscrew the plug on the bottom of the radiator, and while that's happening, I'll try to pull the headlights and maybe the intercooler. If anything even comes out of the radiator. So. So that's going to be it for up top, and everything that I can reach from above with the car on the ground. As you saw, I got the wiring harness off. All the coolant hoses that go between the engine and the car are off, as well as vacuum hoses that plug into stuff on the actual body of the car. So yeah, the next step's going to be jack it up. I got to pull the axles out. I got to pull the transfer case off, and after that I think we're ready to drop this, or to actually pull the engine up out of the car. Then we can drop the front subframe with all the suspension on it. I'm not going to take it apart, as well as the drive shaft and the rear suspension and the fuel tank. Alright, so the engine is out, obviously it's right here. I think the customer's planning to run this turbo, but it is like terrible condition. It's just completely shot, so I will try to, I think before I go ahead and take the rest of the suspension parts off, I'm gonna take this apart, take the turbo out, and try to identify the turbo and see if I can get a rebuild kit for that. If not, then I will have to order a new turbo, or maybe run the whatever turbo is in the clean car, but piece something together for him. The motor's out. I took the turbo off. I looked at the numbers on it. I ordered a rebuild kit for the turbo, so that should be good to go. So now I guess I'm going to take off the rest of the front suspension, the subframe and everything. And then after that's done, I'm going to move on to the rear, get the tank out, get the rear suspension out, the drive shaft. And then I'm going to have to drill out the bracket for the drive shaft. And I think there's one more thing that needs to come off of this. Alright, so after I get the rear suspension out and the drive shaft and the fuel tank, there's two hangers for the drive shaft that I'm going to need to drill out the spot welds to remove them off of this car so that we have it to put onto the GST. Yeah, and that should be all the things I need for the all-wheel drive swap. I'm not going to mess with the wiring for now. I just want to get that car rolling on the four-wheel drive suspension with the motor in it, and then we're going to worry about the wiring after that. So let's roll. Alright guys, so that's it. I got everything all-wheel drive related off of this car, driveline wise. So the wiring harness is obviously still in it. All of that stuff is still in. I'm not sure again what I'm going to do with the wiring. I might end up just using the wiring out of that car, and maybe I got a couple harnesses for the dash, so maybe I'll end up using that to get an OBD port back in that thing, and then hopefully I can get everything to work. I'm not exactly sure what's done to that again. I'm sure the wiring is gonna be fun to trace and figure out, but here are all the parts out of this car. So obviously there's the fuel tank. These are the two hangers for the drive shaft that I just drilled out. So those are going to get welded onto the GST, and then essentially it is going to be a GSX body. There are a couple of other things, like I think these back studs are in the same place in the GST and GSX, but the front ones here. On the GST, they are actually in this hole right there. So the subframe is much smaller than the GSX subframe, which so that's why I'm gonna have to drop in new studs. I'm gonna have to cut the old ones off, and then it will actually be fully ready for a GSX driveline and everything. So to mount the fuel tank, I'm gonna do the same thing I did on my car. The mounting points are different on the GSX versus the GST. So what I did on mine was I just put some riv nuts, because there's holes where the bolts are supposed to go. There's just no nuts welded. So what I did on mine was I just put riv nuts in it. I think there were M8 or M10 riv nuts, which is, I think, plenty. But that's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned. I am going to be obviously working on getting the nice car all-wheel drive swapped. I'm super excited to work on that thing because this is just a pile of rust, as on top of all the mouse crap and just a bunch of spider webs and everything that was, you know, built up on it, because it has been sitting for, I think he said 10 years or something like that. So it's going to be nice to go from working on this to working on that one, which is a 95, but it's just dumb clean. So thank you guys. See you in the next video.